Welcome to today's episode of the Growth Hack Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Slater, and today we're going to talk about luxury results on a shoestring budget. Every entrepreneur wants the luxury results. You want the high return, you want all these things, but oftentimes you don't have a luxury budget. You don't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend to drive the awareness, to drive the results, and you don't have the crazy amount of money to lose over a period of time knowing you're going to get that return a year later. And so I want to talk about some strategies and tactics to leverage your smaller budget and make it more impactful across the board as we look at more of a monthly budget. We do this all the time. We have clients that will spend $500, $600 a month. Now, if you are coming in and you're like, listen, Marcus, I have $50 to $100, that is far more difficult. It's not impossible, but far more difficult. I would say that at a very, very minimum, you should have at least $300. Because if you're going to leverage social media, that gives you $10 a day in spend, which can be very useful. It'll take you a little longer to learn. It will take the algorithm a little longer to learn, but you can leverage it. But it's how you spend it and where you spend it. Now, depending on what industry you're in, if you're in a service-based industry, you may be better off investing on the Google side. Social is important, but Google is much higher intent. If you can be competitive in the Google market, and Google you pay cost per click, then you know that the person that's seeing your ad that's hopefully clicking is looking for the service that you provide or the product that you provide. Likely your return on investment will be much higher. Now, that said, if the market is extremely saturated, and let's say the cost per click average is $10 and you only have $10 to spend per day, that may not be the best place for you to be. So there's some research to do. You can do Google Trends. You can look at keyword trends via Google. So just search Google's keyword tool, and it'll give you insight into what the average cost per click is for certain search terms like hair salon near me, or lash extensions near me, or sauna near me. And that can help you decipher, do you have the budget to garner 2 to 4 to 10 clicks a day, or is it maxed out because there's a lot of competitors in that market? If it's maxed out, you need to transition your mindset to social media, which is the educational and awareness platform. Facebook and Instagram will spend your budget no matter what. There's no pay for play. There's no, hey, they click, so now it's going to cost you $1. It is based on impressions. Facebook says, hey, we're going to put this in front of 1,000 people, and it's going to cost you $10. You're losing that $10 no matter what. You have to hope that those people that see it are engaging with your ad, that your ad copy is good enough, your creative is good enough, get them to ultimately buy the product or at least come explore it. And so you have to focus and hone in a lot more on how you're connecting with them. One of the mistakes I see brands do is they go on to launch Facebook ads and they immediately choose the conversion option. When you go to launch an ad, you get presented with campaign goal options. One is awareness, one is reach, one is conversion. Oftentimes, new brand owners go in and they say, okay, naturally I want the conversion, right? I want the conversion, the book appointment, the purchase of the product, which sounds great. The problem is the algorithm that's built for that really requires you to have 50 to 100 prior purchases for it to be smart enough to understand how many times it has to show it to each individual person before they will convert. You're better off spending your ad dollars on what we call an awareness campaign. This will allow you to impress on each person once every 2 to 3 days, so they're constantly seeing it. You can do different messaging with much lower spend. You have 2 goals here. One is interaction. The people that are interacting now, we know that's a little bit of a warm audience. They are interested in the service. They're interested in what you're saying, so you can now retarget them. Or they're going to your site and they are hopefully booking an appointment or buying the product. That is the strategy on the social side. You really have to dive into those things. We don't want to be at the very end. Our goal when we launch a new brand is not book an appointment. I mean, it is a goal, but it's not where we go first. Our first goal is a click. We need people to click and engage. If they click and engage, now we need them to go to the site. If they go to the site, now we need them to go to a product page. If they go to the product page, now we need them to add to cart. If they add to cart, now we need them to check out. And that is exactly how you should stair step your strategy not say, hey, I need you to click and buy. Because there are 8 steps in between there that you just skipped over. And if you don't understand where you're losing them, you'll never be able to perfect that funnel. Again, Google, vastly different. There's the intent. They're going to convert more. They're actively looking for it. They're looking for a solution immediately. But Google can require bigger budgets based on the competition that is in the market. For the salon world, very competitive. There's a lot of high bids, so it can be difficult. Like inbred sauna room, there's a lot of opportunity because it's trending. It's getting more and more popular. Now, a year from now, it'll be a lot more expensive to buy one of those clicks and to bid on that. But right now, because it's trending, it's lower cost. So really do some research and figure out where your industry is and how those things meet. Now, we've talked a lot about the ad side, but if you are limited on budget, there's a lot of things you can do to garner more purchases that don't necessarily cost a lot of money or money at all. We're talking about things like referral and loyalty programs. There is so much money in your current clientele. Now, again, if you're brand new and you don't have one client in the door, it's a completely different story, different strategy. And hopefully for most brands that are brand new, you have some type of cash flow where you are able to invest a little heavier up front to garner that. But if you're a brand that's been open for just a little bit, let's say 6 months, and you have clients coming in, you need to be leveraging referral and loyalty programs. It has become the status quo now. Getting your clients who love your product to sell your product for you is a no-brainer. But 9 out of 10 times, business owners are afraid to ask. Always put yourself in your consumer's shoes. You are your consumer to a certain extent. If you love a product, you don't mind sharing it. You don't mind sharing it on social media. You don't mind talking about it with your friends. But they have to have a way to, one, ask. They have to know where to send people. And a lot of times they just have to be prompted to do it. Referral revenue can greatly increase not only new clients, but client retention, because they know another person that's taking advantage of those services or products, or that goes to that salon and spa or whatever that may be. So it's really, really powerful when you implement that. There's a lot of platforms. One I think that has a lot of the best features is Referral P&D. If you want something that's a little bit more automated, you can check out that platform. It's super inexpensive. I think it's like $10 a month. And you're able to implement that and automate a lot of your referral outreach. You can also give loyalty points to your current customers. It's a win-win. You're building trust with your current customers. You're bringing in new customers who now hopefully will become additional brand advocates. It's that same tree where now everything is growing apart this way, and it's great. And they start to do your marketing for you and leverage that. And then hyper-local targeting. If you're a small business, you can really make a big splash in your local markets through partnerships, events, geo-targeted ads. If you are in the beauty realm, you can have partnerships with those in the fitness world. We often see partnerships with a beauty brand, with Cycle Bar, or things in that nature. Especially if you're both membership-based, you can pass back and forth in the fitness industry. There's a way with ads where you could actually target them on your competitors. They get in front of some of their client base. You can leverage all of those things to fine-tune who that consumer is, where they are on a limited budget, which will be much more successful when you can only spend $500 versus if you had $10,000 that you're like, I'm okay if I lose this. You can saturate the area, learn really quickly. What might take you 6 months to learn on a smaller budget. We've done this with many, many brands. We worked with fitness studios who've grown their memberships by 30% over a 3-month mark with a smaller budget. In the specific one, we had about a $600 budget, and their memberships grew by, it was a mixture of awareness ads, really good Google campaigns, and referral marketing, getting them to engage more with their current clients and sharing it and bringing guests in. We've done this numerous times in the beauty industry, in the lash industry, $500 a month budget, and now they are producing $40,000, $50,000 a month in revenue. Now, did it happen overnight? Absolutely not. But every month we took our learnings and then we optimized and amplified those in the places that it was converting the best. And as your client base grows and you have referral marketing in, those things start to really come together and converge. And after about 3 to 6 months, you have a really good recipe for continued long-term growth. Now, I think one of the biggest things that most of you who are probably super tuned into this right now have tried at least once is clicking the boost post option I'm going to tell you right now, it is a really good way to spend your money, not the wisest way to spend your money. It's not to say that it doesn't work and it's not great. If you have extra dollars to spend and you want to boost a post for whatever reason, you can do that. But you should be managing these in the Facebook Ads Manager platform. Because when you go to boost a post, you're given limited options. There's not many analytics. You're not tracking any conversion. You have no idea whether this really worked or not. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from business owners say, well, I boosted a post and we got a lot more bookings this weekend. It sounds great, right? But there is no data analytics that that's actually what affected it. It could have been anything. It could have been that the sun was shining. Everyone wanted to come outside. Maybe it was that. But guess what? You can't leverage any of that data to help you in the future because you didn't do that from the right platform. When you launch a Facebook ad, you can do that from the Ads Manager. It's not called boosting, but you can do that for a specific post that you have. But that way, every pixel, so a pixel is what's dropped on your website, the e-commerce side, your booking platform to track conversions. Every time you launch it from the Ads Manager, that pixel fires off. And it allows the algorithm to learn, okay, Marcus clicked on this, he visited 3 different pages, and then he booked an appointment. Now the algorithm understands what type of person I am, what things I like, what things I may have in common with other people, because now you can then create what's called a lookalike audience. The algorithm takes, let's say, me and 30 other people who have booked an appointment with you, and it finds likenesses between all of us. What are the things we like? Where do we shop? What do we do on social? When are we on social media? How often do we buy things off of social media? Are there different interest points? That can be political, that can be shopping experience, brands that we like, age range. And that audience now is extremely hyper-tuned to who your potential buyer is. Is it perfect? No, but it's pretty close. And so you can do that all the way down to a 1% likeness audience and expand from there. If you're boosting posts, I would say stop doing that. Go to Facebook Ads Manager and do it the proper way so that you can retain that data. If you're going to spend money, you better get something out of it. That's the most important part. Don't just spend it and boost and say, I think that's why everyone came in. Spend it and look at the data and understand, okay, I spent $20 on this boost, and we had 10 new clients come in and they were tracked from the pixel. Because if you see that, now you know, well, gosh, I should be spending $100, $200. If that's the return, I should be spending all of that. Otherwise, you'll just go and say, okay, once a month, I'm going to spend $10 on a boost and assume that they're coming in. I am all for repurposing and rebuffering content and boosting those out and recreating those things, but you have to leverage it to where everything that you do should be tracked to an endpoint of succession. If you don't understand if it was successful or not by data, then rule of thumb is it wasn't successful. It's really, really important to move away from the mindset of the boost. It's a payday for the ad platforms because it's free money without any real responsibility from the ad platform to provide you any additional data that might help your business grow further. I understand the attractiveness of it because it's extremely easy to tap one button versus learning the ads platform. But I highly recommend you getting that set up and learning it, or hiring someone who can help you do that pretty quickly and show you how to do that on your own or to manage it for you as well. Now, I just want to talk about some actionable takeaways. One is start small. Focus on 1 or 2 of the lower cost strategies. If you have currently an audience or buyers, choose social media over Google Ads plus referral marketing, getting your current clients to refer more people in. Focus on either one or at least both of those. Maybe don't dive all the way into Google and Facebook and referral. Little steps, measure everything. You have to understand why everything is working or why it's not. It is the only way to figure out how to rebuild that funnel and how to understand if there's an issue with your checkout page, there's an issue with your product page, there's an issue with navigation on your website, there's an issue with load time. If you don't track all of these steps, you'll never know, and you'll continue to guess until you're 12 months down the road, you're out of money and wondering why in the lull happens. And then stay consistent. It's all about steady efforts over time. I always talk about scalable growth. Hyper growth can be really fun, but what happens after that is really important. You need that steady stream and scalable growth over a period of time. We're not trying to go from 0 to 100. We're trying to build lasting brands that last for 20, 30, 40, 50 years or until acquisition. If you're in the e-com world and you're just trying to get to $1 million tomorrow, it's likely never going to work unless you go viral, which is, 0.01% of people or content out there. You really need to focus on stay stream and say, this time next year, I want to be at PEX. Here's the little things I'm going to do to get there. I think it's important to remember that success isn't always about how much you spend. It's about how strategically you invest your time and resources. And if you can do that properly and track everything, I think you'll find really, really good scalable growth and success that you can be proud of over time. Thanks so much for joining us on today's episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.